Mama's ashram, where wisdom flows, bridging east and west, the spirit grows. Voices of the ancients, stories to share. In the dance of thoughts, we find our prayer.
Welcome to Mama's Ashram, where wisdom flows, bridging east and west, where the spirit
grows.
Yeah, okay. And today we'll begin with the last two major philosophies of Vedanta, of Vedic philosophies. And we'll start with Vedanta. And as much as I know, sir, if I go wrong, please point it out, that Vedanta and Vedanta, it's made of two words, Veda, which is the Vedic knowledge, and Anta, which is conclusion. So basically, the major knowledge of Vedas concluded, brought in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Veda Anta.
Yeah.
Is it so? Yeah.
The term Vedanta is actually culmination of Vedic understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular philosophy, Vedanta philosophy, we are talking about Advaita Vedanta philosophy, which is non-dualistic Vedanta. It is non-dualistic because in this philosophy it is maintained that there is one reality, and the reality we experience, that is the projection of that ultimate reality. So everything is projected out of that one reality. And
could you compare
Vedanta,
this to Samkhya? Like, what would be...
Sankhya is dualistic.
Yeah, but could you explain how Advaita sees sees the non-dualistic the non-dualistic way, would Prakriti and Purusha merge at one point, or how is this, how they think of it?
In Sankhya philosophy, that is a dualistic philosophy in which there are two independent principles of creation.
Yeah.
And one is consciousness, and the other one is the matter principle. So these two elements, so consciousness doesn't have the potential, and matter has the potential, but it doesn't have the consciousness. So both are, completely separate and independent from each other. This is the reason why it is dualistic. But in Vedanta philosophy, there is one ultimate reality, one ultimate truth, that is Brahman. Brahman is the ultimate reality.
And he has
Brahman,
both mechanics or both principles of Purusha and Prakriti, or he has even more, how would Advaita define Brahman?
Advaita defines Brahman as the final source of this reality. Brahman is considered as the substratum of the reality. This is absolute consciousness, which doesn't have any attributes.
Okay, so much like Purusha, no?
You can say so. You can say so.
Okay.
But this Brahman, on this Brahman, this reality that we see around is superimposed.
Okay. Yeah.
There is superimposition of reality happens on Brahman. Brahman remains independent and free all the time. Okay, so the reality that we are seeing, this is Maya.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's So sir, it's like can we say that the Brahman is the screen of the cinema hall, the white screen, blank screen, and the light that is projected on the screen, just the light that colors the screen, is what we see, the Maya, the illusion. So everything happens within the uh, horizon, no, within Brahman,
Yeah, on the white paper or on
on the white
on the
screen.
sheet.
Yeah.
You can say so, but this screen that you are saying, it is conscious. Okay,
Mhm.
this Brahman is Satchidananda.
Mm.
So state of Brahman is Sat, that is truth, which is ultimate reality. And what is ultimate reality, which doesn't change, which is immutable.
Yeah.
Okay, that is immutable, free from any kind of distortion, free from any kind of attributes, free from any kind of comprehension. You can't
Mm.
comprehend it.
Right.
It is transcendental reality.
It is also, I would say, perfect, because if it's something perfect, it doesn't need to change anymore. It doesn't need to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
anything. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And it is Chit. Chit is conscious.
Mm.
It has the element of awareness, which is lighting this reality.
Mm. Mm.
How this reality is lit, how this reality is known. This reality is the projection of the Brahman.
Mm.
This reality that we are seeing, this is the projection of the consciousness. So this is Chit, and this is Ananda also. Ananda, that is bliss. Okay, and for bliss, we unfortunately, for Ananda, we don't have any opposite.
Mm.
Like there is opposite of happiness, but for Ananda, we don't have any opposite. That is the reason why it is very difficult to define Ananda. Ananda is
Mm.
bliss. Okay, and that bliss is because of self-sufficiency and completeness and unity.
Mm.
Okay, this is one without the second. That is why it is bliss.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, very
But
interesting. And you don't have an opposite. And I was thinking of something maybe in the English or the German language, but I can't quite put a finger onto it as well.
yeah, it is difficult because it is one.
No,
If
no.
it is one without two, then how come you find the opposite?
Yeah, true,
It
true.
is just one without two.
Uh,
It
yeah.
is it is it is a complete oneness. So this Vedanta philosophy is understanding the phenomenal reality which is created by Maya. Okay, and then going beyond and connecting with the Brahman, which
Mm.
is which is within you, which is Atman.
Mm.
Okay, or in Sankhyan terminology, you can say Purusha.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay, Atman, Purusha, spirit, self, the soul. Brahman is on the cosmic scale. Okay, on the cosmic scale, we call it Brahman. On the individual level, we call it Atman.
Mm.
But
And Atman
essentially,
is
both are the
the
same.
same. Mhm. So
Both are
so
the
would you
same.
say that that the Advaita Vedanta philosophy basically just elaborates the Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi, that you are
Yes.
already there. You don't need to do anything to do there, that but all you have to do is improve your knowing about it, that you are it. I am that.
You or know thyself.
Know
Yeah.
thyself, yeah. What was written in Delphi.
Okay, so you know that, you know Brahman. Okay, you know this, you know Brahman.
And sir, what I can also make out of this is that since you said that Brahman is not comprehensible, also Purusha cannot be experienced. What I have been able to understand is that you cannot directly know reality. What you can know is that what is not the reality, what you are not, and then you can reject that, and then maybe the reality can come on surface. You know,
Yeah.
like if I practice yoga, the Ashtanga yoga, I practice Pratyahar, and I see what I am, and every time it becomes the observed. But I
Yes.
am not the observed. I am the observer. The I is not the
Yes.
observed. And every
Yeah.
time I go in deep into this meditation of finding myself, I keep realizing that this is the observed, which is essentially not me. And
Yes.
so when does it happen that now it is only the observer and there is no observed at all? When
Yes.
do you reject that one final point of me? Say, are you able to understand? Because
Yeah,
again, this is
Yes.
absolutely.
really
And
hard.
I might add,
Yes. Yes.
maybe I can add
Yes. The
to you go.
being remains.
Exactly.
Being remains without the second.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so observer can't be observed.
But it
Hmm.
can be
If
lived,
the,
it can be
yes,
experienced. Yeah.
because that is the experiencer.
Yeah.
That is the experiencer. Like it is same like eyes can't see themselves because eyes are the instrument which is seeing.
Mm.
If
Yeah,
eyes are the seers, eyes can't see themselves.
Mm.
But seeing proves the seer.
Yep. True. Yeah, we have this conversation quite often, me and Madhev. We always talk about that because he is really into this meditation of this is not me. How you say it again?
Neti.
Niti.
Uh,
And with this, you come very, very close to the ultimate observer, but you not experience it. You will always be like, oh, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me. You know, this is a very different living, you know, kind of being. It's just being. It's just being there. It's not watching for anything or trying to identify yourself or define yourself. It's just being.
Yes,
Pure
exactly.
experience.
and sir, but
And
yeah, and sir, I have read uh, Nisargadatta Maharaj a bit,
mm,
and he always talks about, since he was a chain smoker, he
mm.
talked about
He used
that it is not
to smoke bidi.
bidis, yeah, and he
Bidis,
even
yeah.
died of throat cancer.
Right,
Yeah.
uh,
right.
he, he he always talked about that this is, since he was questioned that why are you smoking, since you are a siddha, you are a sage who is also considered enlightened by so many, and you have so many students, why do you smoke? And he said, this is not me who has the habit of smoking, it is my body.
Right.
uh, uh, but uh, so when is this statement true? Is it true for every? This makes everything permissible. So
Not really. It is not for, permissible for everybody. You
right,
have to reach to that level.
yeah,
Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa also died of throat cancer,
okay.
Mm.
and he was a healer. So
Mm-hmm.
people used to come to him. He was always surrounded by, in his small room, 20, 30 people in that time.
Mm.
And people used to come, used to get the answer of the questions. They used to get healed simply by his,
presence.
presence.
Mm.
But he developed throat cancer. And the disciples who were close disciples who used to look after him, they always used to ask that since you yourself are a healer, why don't you heal yourself?
Mm.
And he used to answer that if I will heal this, first thing is this is given to me by my mother. This is given to me by he was disciple of Kali,
Mm.
goddess.
Mhm.
So he used to say, this is given to me by my mother. Like, see, she has given me this body.
Mm.
Why should I reject it? Why should I reject the offering of my mother?
Yeah.
And this is not me suffering, it is the body suffering.
Right. Yeah, there's also the
And
the
if I,
attitude, the attitude of like whatever happens, who am I to decide if this is good or bad? Maybe this is a good thing.
right. And he said, if I get stuck here, meaning if I get identified with this issue, I will develop a new karma.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
Karma of attachment with my physical body.
Yeah.
And for that, I have to take another birth to get rid of that karma. So I'm not going to, you know, uh,
Yeah.
come 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 back
Yeah.
again.
Again.
This was his, take. So
So, so,
there are people they had different perspective.
so Advaita Vedanta is more Gyan Yoga and less doing, and more
Yeah,
understanding. It's
yeah.
more towards Gyan.
No, but you can't say less doing.
Yeah.
Because in Vedanta philosophy you have Sadhan Chatushtaya.
Mhm.
Sadhan Chatushtaya means the four sadhan, the four instruments, or the four processes.
Is sadhan the same as satana? So like to
Yes,
perfect, to
yes,
practice?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
Sadhana,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So sadhan is the instrument to do the sadhana.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, sadhan is the instrument to do the sadhana.
All right.
Okay, sadhan means.
Mm.
Okay, that is means of attaining something.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Vedanta you have Viveka. You have to practice Viveka. Viveka is discrimination. Like what you are saying, neti neti.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, this is Viveka. Not this, not that. Okay, what is reality? Not this, not that.
Yeah.
Whatever you are seeing is not the reality.
Mm.
Or experiencing.
Okay, and rejecting that. So discriminating between what is self and what is non-self.
Right.
That is Viveka. Then the
Okay.
second
You.
means is Vairagya.
Non-attachment.
Vairagya is detachment.
Mm.
Mm.
You have to practice detachment in your life. But you can practice detachment only when you practice Viveka. Because
Mhm.
Viveka is making you understand what is reality and what is not.
Right.
So you will naturally not get attached, identified with something which is non-self. So Vairagya, develops in you.
Mm.
And Vairagya, practicing Vairagya is a lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
This is a lifestyle. This is the state of consciousness. You have to see everything through that lens and perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So there is Viveka, there is Vairagya. Then the third one is Sat Sampatti. Sat means six, Okay, and Sampatti means the treasure.
The treasure.
Yes.
Okay.
So you
So
have six, treasures of life, six virtues that
mm,
you have to practice.
okay.
The first one is Dama.
Dhamma.
Okay, the first one is Dama. Dama is, regulation of your senses. You are
So
controlling the senses.
is this connected to uh, Dahana and Dharma?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, you are developing, control over the senses. You are subjugating the senses.
Mm,
Mm.
mm,
How you are subjugating the senses? By practicing Viveka and Vairagya.
mm.
The first two steps.
Right.
Okay, then there is Shama. Okay, Shama is pacifying the mind. So there is effort to mind control. You have to control the mind. So
Mm,
first you have worked on the senses, and then you are working on the mind.
mm, mm. Makes sense.
Okay, and then there is, Uparati. Once you have worked on the mind and the senses, then comes Uparati. Uparati is internalization, which is Pratyahara.
Yeah.
So once the senses and the mind are, controlled, regulated, and pacified, then you naturally go within. You become more contemplative.
Mm,
So Uparati is the state when you are moving after uh, fulfilling the requisites and requirements of Viveka, Vairagya, Sama, Dama. So once you have fulfilled that, then there is a natural tendency of the mind to internalize. And why it is internalizing? Because mind knows and understands what is real and what is not non-real, what is Atman and what is non-Atman. So once that distinction, that discrimination is created, then you move on to the next level. And Uparati is moving inwards and being more contemplative. And after completing Uparati, you move to Titiksha. So Titiksha is the ability, it is it is the quality of maintaining the equilibrium, maintaining the homeostasis during the adverse situations, and challenging polar opposite conditions in life. So completing the other stages of uh, Gyan Yoga and Vedanta, after completing Viveka, Vairagya, Sat Sampatti, and in Sat Sampatti there are six virtues, spiritual virtues,
mm,
starting from Dama, Shama, Uparati, which is internalization, and Titiksha. So Titiksha is developing equanimity at the face of adversity. So this capacity you develop when you fulfill the requirements and when you fulfill the uh, prerequisites of Vedanta and Yoga.
mm,
So in Titiksha, you are developing a kind of resilience. You are developing a kind of detachment from the things which are pulling you in in the direction which is non-harmonious. So this what we practice, this what we learn in Vedanta and Jnana Yoga by living the life of a hermit, living a life of a rishi, living the life of a seer, a very simplistic, very minimalistic lifestyle, and facing the adversity without complaining and without any kind of, uh, discontent. So that is Titiksha. Then after completing this fourth stage of Titiksha, Dama, Sama, Uparati, and Titiksha, then you have Shraddha. Shraddha is another aspect of Vedanta and Jnana Yoga. In Shraddha, you develop the faith, and faith in the scripture, faith in the words of the master, uh, in the books that you're learning, and the process. So if you don't have faith, you won't be able to continue. So faith is very, very important. So that's why faith is given so much of importance. So completing the first four stages, then comes the faith, that is Shraddha, and Shraddha is reinforcing your practice. It is reinforcing the practice, and when you are in the practice and the result, the effects, the experiences, reinforcing your faith. So it is, two-way, communication, and and it is helping, to the practitioner to be on the path and continue the practice.
So can we
So these are the sorry, yeah,
can we say that the yogic counterpart of Shraddha can be Ishwar Pranidhan, because faith
yes,
usually begins
yes,
after surrender.
yes, because in every path of yoga, if you don't surrender your ego, you can't progress, because ego is ahamkara, and ego is separating you from the true self, and that is responsible for making the person getting identified with the non-self. So ego has to be surrendered. Ego is demarcating your individual boundary. Ego is the principle which is creating your individual boundary. So you have to drop it in order to merge into the supreme and ultimate consciousness. Otherwise, it will separate you from the realization of the absolute and engage you with something which is non-self. That is what ego is all about. So in every yoga, you are working on diluting the intensity and diluting the process and the activities of ahamkara. Aham is I principle. Aham means I. Akara means the form. So formation of the I principle. So I am this, I am that. This idea, this shift in your consciousness, that is developed by ego. So when you dilute and sublimate the energy and expression of ego, then you move forward in your spiritual life. This is applied to all the different branches of yoga. So this is the fifth stage, which is Shraddha. Shraddha is surrender. You surrender. You have faith in the tradition. You have faith in the teaching. You have faith in the words of the master. And then you progress. If you don't have a faith, if you have doubt, if mind playing the trick, you won't progress
Mm.
because it will pull you down and bring you down to the same level once again. So it is important because ego is the principle which dichotomize the two, the consciousness and the experience. So
Mm.
we have to sublimate and dilute this principle so that we penetrate the reality and look into the truth.
Mm.
That is why in every yoga, sublimation and refinement of ego is one of the processes. So once Shraddha, the faith is not belief. There is a difference between belief and faith.
Mm.
Belief is what other people are saying, and you develop belief on that word and content. But faith is when you realize by yourself.
Mm.
That is faith.
Interesting. Mm. Yeah, because I was
So,
thinking also about the what you said about surrendering and yeah, like trusting or having faith in these processes and in your teacher. And we also used to say in the West that you can only know something for sure if you have doubted it, and then you use the discriminative force of yourself, your power to get to these things you doubted in the first place. Otherwise, you wouldn't like receive or be sure that whatever you believe in or you have faith in is the real thing.
yes, yes. So you have to have unwavering faith
Mm.
because this is the faith which brings every yoga practitioner on the very first day of their practice on the yoga mat.
Mm.
If you don't have faith, you won't come to yoga studio on the very first day of your yoga experience or yoga practice. It is the faith which brings you there.
So I've also heard that.
And then the practice is reinforcing that faith because then you are getting the positive, uplifting, and desired results. So
Mm.
you continue and you go deeper and deeper into the process.
Mm.
Yes, Madhav.
Yeah, so and I've also heard that it is the guru that chooses the shishya or the student, and it is not like that I go out looking for gurus and see where my faith fits, but it is supposed to be natural that I get chosen by somebody, and my faith is naturally automatically there. I sort of connect with him. Um, but I've never really. So first, is it true that the guru always chooses the student, and that's how faith also develops?
I have the opposite view.
Mm.
I feel that the student chooses the guru. You choose the guru. But
Yeah.
who is the guru? What is guru?
Mm-hmm.
Guru
Guiding
is the
light.
principle which is dispelling the darkness,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
which is bringing you to the light of knowledge. This is inside you. You have the Guru Tattva, you have the Guru element within you.
Mhm.
Why you are running after a physical guru?
True.
I'm not in favor of recommending anybody to go after the physical guru. This is my personal view. I mean, your audience may differ, may complain, I don't mind, but I have seen, I have experiences. So I personally won't recommend anybody to follow any guru. Instead of following the guru, you follow the teaching.
Right. Yeah, well said.
You follow the teachings. Why to follow the guru? Guru is inside you. This is your Guru Tattva. The third eye chakra is your Guru Tattva.
Okay.
It is always the guiding force. The guiding force is inside you. In the
Right.
beginning, you are taking help of the teacher, help of so-called, guru or whatever, but don't go get into the trap. Otherwise, you will get dependent. If your mother is sick, you will call your guru or you go to the ashram and begging, my mother is sick, what should I do? This is what happens. I'm not in favor of that.
Mhm.
You have to take responsibility of your own karma. No guru can help in uplifting your spiritual life. I'm
Yeah,
a
and I think
very straightforward person, sorry. So
no
some
worries.
of your audience may not like, but this is who I am. So I'm not in favor of guru.
Yeah, I think
Guru,
no worries about that. I think we are all here to learn something and to respect all different views. We don't want to judge
yes,
anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it in kind of the same way as you do, but in the part of responsibility. When you have like this, and you are in the trap of a guru, and you call whatever you guru when something happens in your life, you put the responsibility away from yourself and say something else is responsible. Much like lots of religions do in nowadays. The God is responsible
yeah,
for all these things,
yeah,
and then they pray, but they don't do themselves something to get out of these situations or to better the situation. And this is where I think is a big misleading light, or misleading thing that we have on earth right now, because when you take on your own responsibility, you will create your surroundings and your life, where you're going, how you're going further, instead of someone
yeah.
else will put the will onto you.
Only I feel that everybody, every human being should keep one thought, that whatever is taking you away from harmony,
Mm,
that is unrequired.
mm,
That is
yeah.
unrequired.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
If your guru is putting you into such situation, don't do that. So-called guru.
Yeah.
Because most of the gurus in India right now who are in the media, to be very frank, because I don't have anything to lose, they, so who are their victims?
Mm,
The victims of those gurus are the people who are very vulnerable.
right.
Yoga is not about encashing the vulnerability,
Yeah.
but yoga is about empowering the person, the individual,
Mm.
so that you don't need me. You don't need me as a teacher. You don't need me as a guru. You
Yeah, as
move
they
forward
say,
in your life.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
as they say, the best teacher or the best script you can read is something you have to read once and then forget about it.
Yes. So I always tell in my class, maybe I told in your class too, that follow the teaching, not the teacher.
mhm.
Follow the teaching, not the teacher. Follow the methodology, the methods developed by the ancients, rishis, seers, but not the teachers.
So,
Teachers will, there are many different types of teachers who might exploit you, and people fall prey and they suffer.
Yeah. Absolutely. We
So
see this in
somebody,
like the gym kind of dudes who are on YouTube who want to push you to go to the gym and take all the supplements and also like this. You know, people fall in these kind of traps and think this is the guru, this is the guy who will lead me to a like a steel body, you know. But
yeah,
then they all take steroids and whatever, you know, they cheat and exploit the people
yeah.
who follow
So
them.
apply your, conscience and your discrimination, power of discrimination, faculty of discrimination to find out what is right or what is wrong.
so this is also what my next question
Somebody,
is about. That since you said that the guru lies in the third eye chakra or the Agya chakra, I wanted to ask that
hmm,
since the Agya chakra also represents the intuition, so can we say that the intuition is a part of the guru,
guru is what? Guru is what?
somebody that takes you away from the darkness and into the light?
Yes. So that is guru. So this is the discriminating faculty. This is inside you, inside me, inside everybody. But this faculty flourishes when your turbulences are, contained,
Mm.
Vrittis.
when you're guided on the path of yoga. So even an honest teacher, yoga teacher, can guide you into that path. You don't have to be dependent. I
Mm.
I lived in an ashram for 8 years. For little problems, for the birth of grandson, they're coming to the guru for the name, for this, for that. They are totally dependent and totally bound.
Mm. Mm.
Why to do that? Why can't you take your own decision? Why can't you lead your own life? In my whole life, I had a guru, but I never asked a favor from this guru because I kept my principle that whatever I will do on my own merit and on my own integrity.
Mm.
Mm.
Why should I ask?
Yeah.
Why should I ask that please give me the power and help me out? I'm suffering and this is all nonsense. Nobody can help you. Please believe me.
Mhm.
They can only exploit you. So don't go into that path. So moving from moving from Viveka, Vairagya, and the different aspects of Sat Sampatti, the six treasures, the six virtues of life, spiritual life, we come to Shraddha, which is faith. And faith is a reinforcing energy which is keeping you on the path and helping you to not deviate from the path and from the process. So faith is very, very important. Faith on the scripture, faith on the words of the Guru, faith on the process. So these are the important aspects of Shraddha, which is the fifth aspect of Sat Sampatti, the six virtues.
Mm.
The sixth one is Samadhan. So Samadhan is keeping your focus fixed on one ultimate reality. This is part of Vedanta and Jnana Yoga. So without deviating, knowing what is real and what is non-real, what is the ultimate reality as Atman and Brahman, and what is not. So this is keeping you on the track. So this is the last of the six different steps of Sat Sampatti, the six treasures of or six virtues of his spiritual life.
Mm. So when you talk about
Then the
this, it
fourth,
reminds me, it reminds me a lot of the seven deadly sins and the seven holy virtues we have in Christianity or in like the Greco-Roman culture. Is there also like six sins opposite to these virtues, or they don't really
I
describe that?
mean, in yogic, in yogic concept and yogic tradition, we don't have concept of sin.
Mm. Right.
We don't have concept of sin because
Mm.
concept of sin is delimiting the individual's potential.
Mm.
I don't believe in targeting an individual and saying that you are the sinner,
Mm.
you have committed this crime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am not in favor of that approach.
Who are we to judge? Yeah.
The only sin in Indian philosophy and in Indian spirituality is something which is taking you away from harmony is the sin.
Yeah. Yeah, like
That's it.
Madhev described once, the only responsibilities you have in the Hindu culture is like to get enlightened, and the other one was what?
No, I was translating Sanatan Dharma. So where, sorry if I'm wrong, please point that where Dharma means responsibility and Sanatan means ancient, and that ancient responsibility is to know who you really are.
Sanatan is eternal.
Mm.
Sanatan means eternal, which
Okay.
doesn't have a beginning nor it has the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it is continuous.
So it's the eternal responsibility?
It is eternal. It is eternal.
Okay, just eternal.
Sanatan Dharma. Dharma is following your eternal nature. That is Dharma. Dharma is not a religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just your pathway, you might say.
Yeah. Yeah. So following the eternal nature of the soul, spirit, and humanity, that is Dharma.
Mm.
It is not about a religion.
Yeah.
So Sanatan Dharma is not about a religion.
Mm-hmm.
Hinduism is not a religion.
Mm.
It is a
Yeah, I
way of
wouldn't
life.
say, yeah. This is why I prefer to say Hindu culture and not say
Yes.
Hinduism
Hindu
or
religion, yeah.
whatever, or
Yes.
Buddhism and all this
Yes.
stuff. I don't think these are
Be-
wrong terms
yeah.
put on this from the West.
Yeah.
So I believe that
because many
even
people
religion is how what we were talking about authority. Even religion is basically just authority, and I don't think that any religion has been able to produce enlightened beings.
yeah, religion, because religion, is religion confines you. Religion confines you. Spirituality liberates you.
Yes. Yeah.
This is my understanding. So when you are in spirituality, you have no religion. But whichever religion if you wish to follow, spirituality will help in.
Yeah.
It will help in. But spirituality is all about opening and expanding your consciousness, your awareness, and making you feel more spontaneous. This is all about spirituality.
Mhm.
Religion is all about dogma. It is all about rules and regulations. You have to follow this, you don't have to follow that. This is sin, this is, pious. So personally, I'm not that kind of person to follow that. Any kind
But
of
also in Vedanta, they don't describe the sins. So they don't have a
no,
concept of that.
no,
Yeah.
no,
All
no.
right.
Even in Tantra, in Sankhya, they don't talk about sins. There's no concept of sins.
All right.
In major philosophies in India, there is no concept of sins. Yeah, so Vedanta, the last stage of Vedanta is mumukshutvam.
Mhm.
Mumukshutvam is having a burning desire for salvation, for freedom, for moksha,
Mm.
for liberation. So you need to have, you can't carry on because Vedanta or Jnana Yoga is not about intellectual or philosophical discussion like we are doing right now.
Mhm. Right.
It is about following a lifestyle. And all these steps, Viveka, Vairagya, Sat Sampatti, the six virtues under Sat Sampatti. And on top of that, you need to have a burning desire for self-actualization, or self-liberation, or self-realization. So that helps you to realize who you are. You're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the transient reality. You are the one who is the ultimate witness. So the ultimate reality in Vedanta philosophy is the consciousness. And mumukshutvam is realizing the being. Consciousness is the being, is the soul, is the spirit. That is your ultimate essence of existence. That is the ultimate spark of your life.
Right.
And that is the witness of everything existing at the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious level. There is a story about a king, which I was mentioning,
Mm.
that king was resting, and then suddenly one soldier came to him and told him that the neighboring kingdom has invaded us, so we need to fight back. So king came out of the bed and went on for the battle, and he fought the battle, and ultimately he lost. And then he was captured and he was produced in front of the opposition party or the king. And the king, the the king in opposition, he said that since you are the king, I won't murder you. I will leave you free, but you will be in exile. You have to leave the kingdom. And he was thrown out of the kingdom. And thrown out of the kingdom, and then he was thirsty after the battle fatigue, and he wanted some food. Then coming out of that kingdom, he entered the another, kingdom, and there he noticed that some people were serving some meals, some food. So he lined up because there was a queue. So king also lined up in the queue to get his portion of the food. And he got his portion of the food. And then he took it and he went to the side to eat it. But the moment he went to the side to eat it, then a kite, a bird, the kite, the kite, then
Yeah.
then it sees the food and attack the food, and the pot and the food got completely got out of his hands,
Mm.
and he lost it.
Mm.
And he cried. He was so bewildered and so desperate to have that food. He cried. And then suddenly a soldier woke him up, asked me, King, what is happening with you? Then he came back to the senses. And then he asked the soldier, is it the truth or that was the truth? The truth I was experiencing. Was it the truth or this is the truth?
Mm.
Then the soldier said, this is the truth. But he said that I went through a lot of hardships. What about that? And he started asking everybody, is this the truth or was that the truth? So everybody thought that he gone crazy. His name was Janaka. Janaka. He was very
Ah.
enlightened, king. Janaka.
Mhm.
Janak. And then, word is spread and people started thinking that our king has gone crazy. So he's talking rubbish. And then suddenly, his guru, his mentor, his guide, who was Ashtavakra, he appeared and he asked the king, what has happened to you? And he said that, is this the truth? Is this the reality? Or was that the reality? Then Ashtavakra said, this is not the reality and nor that was the reality. Neither this is the reality nor
Yeah, yeah.
that was the reality.
Oh, God.
And he asked him that when you were experiencing that dream, you there was a witness of that dream. He was all the time there. He saw you suffer. He saw you, getting rid of your kingdom. He saw you everything, going
Mm.
through hardships and everything. And now you are back. And it is seeing you in this state too.
He's still there.
So that remained. That is the witness. That is the consciousness.
Mm.
That always remains. Whether you are in the conscious, subconscious, or unconscious state, it is always there. It is the light which is lighting the conscious state, the subconscious state, and the unconscious state. So in the unconscious state, there is nothing to be lit because mind is subdued. Mind is completely subjugated. Vrittis are gone. So there is nothing to lit. So only consciousness remains.
Mm.
But in the dream, this consciousness is seen. And within the field of the mind, the things are being created. The characters are being created. And consciousness is watching you in that dream.
Mm.
Who is the witness of you? You were suffering in the dream and there was an entity who was watching you.
Mm. Mm.
This witness was there, even in the subconscious state of dream. And in the conscious state, when it is communicating through the senses and the mind, this whole world is lit. So consciousness is like a light. So you put the hand in front of the light, the hand will be lit. But you remove the hand, light is not disappearing. Light is still there.
Mm.
Only the object is not there. So this is the presence of consciousness.
Mm.
This is the
Beautiful.
presence of the existence. This is the presence of light.
Mm. Beautiful.
So,
Yeah. All vibrations, I guess, when we have like nowadays we study light, we see that this is just some kind of vibration. It's like some kind of frequency which color is like on another frequency. And the same with music and the same with materia, like how dense it is, how hard, how it depends on how it swings, and we see it in the atoms, everything. There's no like solid thing, that 99% of the atom is vacuum. So we see there's nothing solid. It's all just vibrating and creating this how do I say frequency.
yeah. And that light, that essence, which is the observer, which is the substratum, it is litting the reality.
Mm.
If it is not there, the reality is gone. It is the light. Like if you are entering the dark room and you lit a light, you see the objects and the things. What if your light is gone? You see nothing. There is no existence for you. And right from the beginning, if there is no existence for you, you don't believe there is any existence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Same thing happens with the conscious state. When that light is lighting this entire world, this entire reality is lit up. When you open your eyes, you open your eyes, the whole reality lit up. You close your eyes, this entire reality, goes off. In the dream, in between the two, this consciousness, this reality is lighting the play of the mind and the individualized consciousness.
Mm.
You become the victim, you become the actor, which is playing within the field of the consciousness, and the consciousness is watching you too.
Mm.
You are being watched by your own
All the time.
consciousness
All the time.
in
Yeah,
the
there's
dream.
this it reminds me of another story I heard from India where there were some kids and in an ashram, and the guru told them to go out and steal one item anywhere, like from some places, and then return. but only if no one is watching you.
Mhm.
And the kids went, and most of them stole something, and then one kid didn't steal anything. And after the guru asked, like, why didn't you steal anything? He said, like, yeah, but you said only if nobody's watching, but I'm watching over
Yeah.
myself all the time. So how could I?
Right,
Yeah.
right. True, true.
Mm.
So
Yes,
this is
I
Madhav.
this is what I've also been studying, that it doesn't matter if you've been having divine experiences, profound divine experiences in your meditation or not, because experience or no experience, the experiencer is always there, and experiences really do not matter because they are very ephemeral. They come and go. Uh, and once you've started to see this as a movie, and I've also asked you this question so before. Does free will exist during the Sankhya episode? So how I do it is that when I start to see things as a movie, pre-written movie, whatever I'm saying, thinking, or feeling is pre-written. I'm a character in a movie. Then for a moment or two, experiences suddenly disappear, and and once I try to amalgamate this with meditations like Neti Neti or the philosophies of Nisargadatta Maharaj or other Advaita Vedantic philosophies, I think it is really easy to see that there is a blackness, sort of a screen that is always here, but it is hard to experience it and put it into words. It is like a it is like a blackness where all experiences happen.
Hmm.
That contradicts
This is not
the
blackness.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is
I
not
just don't know how to
blackness.
describe it. This was the best
It
way I
is, it
could.
is,
Yeah.
it is blankness.
Blankness. Yeah. Void.
Blankness. It
Mm-hmm.
is not blackness. It is blankness.
Mm.
So you are experiencing the stage, the third stage of the consciousness, which is Sushupti. And Sushupti will lead you into Samadhi, because there is a very thin line difference between Sushupti and Samadhi.
What exactly is Sushupti? Is this connected with the nullified
Sushupti
and the void?
Sushupti is deep sleep. Sushupti
Okay.
is deep sleep
Okay.
without any contents,
Yeah,
without
yeah,
any
yeah.
contents, but only the consciousness remains. The mind is completely subdued. Mind goes into the state of, it goes into dormant state. So there's no time, no space, no identity, no belief, no self-image, no religion, no ethnicity, no religion, nothing, no nationality, nothing. But just the self is there. But in Susupti, you are not aware of that self. But in Samadhi, the moment awareness of that being into the self is embedded, then you become alive. You experience inner unity. You experience your existence, your being. That is Samadhi. There is a very thin line difference between Nidra or Susupti and Samadhi. So it is a matter of going deeper and deeper and deeper, neti, neti, removing, reducing, regressively, moving back and back to the source, and then finally reaching to the point where you remains without the second. This is Samadhi. So mumukshutva or mumukshutvam is that stage of Samadhi when you realize who you are. Who am I? What is my nature? What is the essence of my existence? That you realize. That is in the state of muchitvam. That is the fourth stage of Jnana Yoga and in Vedanta. So this is the most existential inquiry that a human consciousness could think of, knowing who they are. Who am I?
Yes.
This is the most existential and the fundamental question. Where I
Absolutely.
am from? What is the purpose to my life?
Yeah, we
These
see
are the
this.
fundamental questions.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think we see this in many different mystery schools and occultism around the world. Like in the example I gave earlier, I don't know which episode, which was written in Delphi with the Oracle of Delphi. You know, when they had this ritual where they ask this oracle like, what will this and this be, and then they make prophecies and all this. And but before they did that, there was an engraving on the stone there, and it was way before they started with the oracles, and it said, "Know thyself." And this is like the
Yeah.
most, as you said, the most fundamental question we can ask and we can experience.
This is actually one of the Mahavakyas of Vedanta.
Mm.
Know thyself.
Know thyself. Yeah. It
This
traveled
is a
around the world.
universal. This is a universal question. That's why it is so fundamental. This is why it is so existential.
And I think the
Because
beautiful thing is,
ultimately,
the beautiful thing is that this question starts the spiritual journey and it's also the end. It's the ultimate
yes,
last question.
yes, yes. This is the first, the foremost, and the last.
Mm, mm,
But between the question and the final realization, the journey is long. Journey is long. So you have to follow the path. You have to discipline yourself. The four different methods which we discussed, Vairagya, Viveka, Vairagya, Sat Sampatti, the six virtues, and Mukshutvam. So you have to follow that. And every yoga, every philosophy has got its own methodology, its own process. So depending on your eligibility, we call it Adhikari Bhed. Adhikari Bhed is your individual eligibility. So in ancient time, teacher used to watch and study the candidates, whether he or she is eligible for this path or not.
mm, mm.
So if you are eligible for the path, then you will be accepted, no matter how much money you carry in your baggage.
Yeah, I
So
think this
money is not
tradition goes
important.
also on in the West with the mystery cults and schools like the Freemasonry and all stuff like this. You know, they had really strict protocols also in Mithraism. Who would be able to join uh, in the cult in their mysteries.
Right, right, because this is a very sacred tradition. Now it has become commercial. But even if you want to go to a very traditional schools or traditional centers, they won't accept anybody on the face value. You have to prove your point. and prove your eligibility. And for
Yeah, I
that,
think
they don't charge you any money,
no.
whether you're staying for 1 month or 10 years or 20 years, doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's
But you have
totally
to,
legit.
yes, you have to prove that you are really eligible and you are really sincere to get that knowledge and get that teaching.
Right. Okay. I think we're good for now, and maybe we can talk about this in another episode or some other time.
Yes,
And also
yes, sure.
maybe about the different methods, the different paths humanity has written down to answer that question and let the soul ascend. And for this, so thank you guys for watching, and be patient and excited for another great episodes in mamasashram.
And thank
Namaste.
you,
Thank you.
Sir Sushant sir,
Thank
for
you.
all these long hours that you have given us and the viewers.
Thank you.
This I
Thank
hope
you.
I hope your words, people, the viewers really, including ourselves, we really focus on them and then pause the video for a while and then meditate on those words and then play it again and pause and then meditate, because I think whatever you said was really profound and it has a lot of meaning if it is really experienced. If you just take it as words, then I don't think anything will work for you. And trust me, these words had really a lot of power. Just give it time and soak it before you move on to the next topic. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
Almost ashram, I am happy and free. Let's talk about deep shit, just you and me. It's a place to live.